Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to Tri-Effort. I'm Johnny Del Balso, and we are on to week 4 of this Ironman Jacksonville Chasing Kona vlog. But we are switching gears these next 4 weeks because we got Ironman Puerto Rico 70.3 on deck March 15th. So we're 4 weeks out from that race, and it's time to get into the race prep phase of my training. What I got going on, I got 2 build weeks on deck. We're going to end that second build week. This will be next week's vlog with a race rehearsal. We're really going to dial in our race pacing strategy, our race power outputs, the nutrition, the bike setup, the gearing setup, pretty much everything, you know, the race kit. We are really trying to cater the training to the demands that I'm going to come across in this race in Puerto Rico. I got to do some heat adaptation. That's going to be my nemesis, I think, of this race because it's been winter up here in Ohio. But anyways, that's what we got going on. That's where these vlogs are going these next 4 weeks. So it's time to lock in pretty much. Today it is Tuesday, February 17th. Yesterday I got in an intensity swim session in the pool. That went really good for me. And I got the tri-bike outside because we had some nice weather. So I got like a 45-minute easy ride out there. And today we got nice weather again. So we're gonna take it back outside, and we got an hour and 15-minute workout to do with a 20-minute sweet spot interval and 6 2-minute VO2 max efforts after that 20-minute block. So we're gonna get that one in there, and we might do a very short brick run off. So we'll see what we could do, but it's time for me to get outside before we lose this daylight.
All right, I am just about 20 minutes into this ride, just wrapping up my warm-up here. It's a lot colder than I thought. I could use more cold weather gear, I'll tell you that. But I'm gonna start this 20-minute sweet spot interval. We're gonna target 280 watts and see how well we do on this one today. I'm very green today. All right, that 20-minute interval is complete. I hit that at 283 watts. My heart rate was in the upper 130s for that one, and I felt really good. I'm doing like a 5-minute cruise interval right now, and then we're gonna do 6 2-minute VO2 max intervals with 90 seconds rest in between. Rest as in easy pedal. We'll check back in after those intervals are done. It's too hard for me to take the camera out and whatnot while I'm wearing this jacket.
All right, ride and workout complete. We're skipping out on the brick run because it was cold and windy, and I got kind of lightheaded once I got back to the house, especially after those VO2 efforts. But anyways, we got an hour and 10 minutes out of that ride, 26 miles, 250 average watts, 270 normalized watts of power, 127 average heart rate. We hit all those VO2s at 350 watts. I'm really happy with that ride. I only did 5 of the VO2 intervals as well because it got dark and I needed to get home to stay safe out there. So safety first on the road. But anyways, I'm very happy with that one. I got some pizza waiting for me upstairs, and we got to swim and run tomorrow. So we will check back in then. Good morning. It is Wednesday, 5:45 a.m. right now. We're getting up a little bit earlier today. We're going to go do an intensity swim session and then do our longer run right after that before I have to get into work. I'm going to try to get myself to get up earlier and earlier as these days go by to get the training done before work. That seems to work very well whenever I'm in a race build. I know a lot of people probably get up at 3 or 4 a.m., but not this guy. So we're gonna try to get myself adjusted. I just need to get to bed earlier to make that happen, which I did do last night. So anyways, I'm gonna get to this swim and we will check back in.
All right, swim is complete. I got the goggle eyes to prove it. Had a short and sweet intensity session today. Had to cut it a little bit short just to get this run in. And I'm gonna have to cut this run a little bit short too, but that's just the name of the game. Main thing is staying consistent, getting the workouts in. For the swim, the main set was 3x100, 3x75, 3x50. Do that times 2, all at zone 5 pace. So above threshold, just working some technique at speed, and I felt pretty good there. I chopped out the cool down on my swim, and I am using this run as my cool down, I guess. For the run, we're gonna get about 65 minutes, and we're keeping it all nice and easy. My legs are very heavy after yesterday's bike workout, and that swim, and the healing ankle. So we'll check back in at the end of this run, and I don't know, see you then. All right, we got 8 miles out of that run, 7:57 average pace. Kept it pretty chill. I did pick up 2 of those miles just to get a little pep in my step because I was feeling dead that entire run. Yeah, not all these days are great for me. So today was definitely one I just had to grit through, and I got it done. So now I get to shower, go get a coffee, get off to work, and relax the rest of the day. So check back in tomorrow.
Good morning. It is 5:20 a.m. Getting up a little bit earlier this Thursday morning. We're going to go downstairs on the trainer and do an hour ride with 3x12 minutes at sweet spot intensity. We will see if this body is awake enough for that, but we're going to go get it done and we'll check back in.
All right, I am 15 minutes into this ride. I just finished my warm-up and I'm on this first 12-minute interval. I'm going to drop the intensity down to like a tempo effort. So we're going to try to hit 250 watts for these. My body's just not firing this morning. This is also just a secondary ride for the week, not a priority ride. I'm listening to the new Crushing Iron podcast this morning. They took like a month break, so good to have them back. And yeah, we'll check back in. I think my body will wake up as I get going. This is pretty early for me, so see what we can do. All right, we got that first interval done, 12 minutes at 245 watts. I kind of built up into that one a bit. So, and I'm feeling more awake now. So I think these next 2 should go pretty good. Maybe we could push it a little bit more. I feel like I got to give myself some grace with these morning workouts. Give myself maybe a little bit longer warm up. Do some better like dynamic stretching before I get on the bike. That would have helped. And just keep in mind, this is not my normal routine here, but I know this does work very well for me whenever I'm in like race prep phase. So I do like trying to get these done in the morning, open up my afternoon a bit, give myself a better like 24-hour recovery window. That's huge. And yeah, just all around, the earlier you get the work in, the sooner your day is justified. So we'll go with that. So one thing I've been doing is not carving up my workouts that are like less than 90 minutes or maybe less than an hour. I'll just do electrolytes and all that. But in the morning, I like having a carb mix bottle. Since I'm not doing breakfast or anything yet, I like drinking that carb mix while I'm riding. That seems to help me out. That could have been some of my issue whenever I first started too. So I just felt like I had this gremlin in my belly saying, feed me. Anyways, I'm going to do 3 minutes between these intervals and knock the other 2 out, get back to this podcast, and we'll check back in at the end of this ride. All right, we survived. I came alive those last 2 intervals. So those 3 12-minute intervals, I hit 245 watts, 255 watts, 265 watts. So nice little step up build set today. Anyways, I'm doing a 5-minute cool down. I got to go take a shower, grab a coffee, get off to work. And we might do a like an easy recovery run on lunch break or later today. All right, I am out here on my lunch break recovery run. We're gonna get a half an hour nice and easy. But I just found a little guitar. So let this be your sign to sign up for the Triclete Rock Roll Run Triathlon this August and come race with me. It's a great race in Cleveland. I'm an ambassador for that. You can use my code Johnny2026 to get $10 off your entry. And there are super sprint, and Olympic distance options, as well as duathlon and aquabike. So sign up, Come race. All right, we got a half an hour in, 3.6 miles, 8:18 average pace, and 130 average heart rate. Back to work for me. All right, we are getting in the after work dog mile in Crocs today. I'm getting tangled up. Okay. All right, they did pretty good. We got 1 mile in, 8:50 average pace. That's with a couple potty breaks, and I kept getting tangled up with Wooloo. That's the black one. But we're doing a cool down 0.1 walk right now. Time to give them some treats.
All right, it is Friday morning. Once again, I have to do a voiceover because I didn't sync up my microphones, but that's what I get for trying to have quality audio on this channel, but I'm trying, so bear with me. We're gonna do a heat prep session down here, a nice easy ride, and I'm bundled up pretty damn good. I got a beanie on, sweatshirt on, a Tyvek suit. We're gonna try to sweat, and we're gonna take this to the Ironman 70.3 Italy course on Ruby.
All right, I am 30 minutes into this ride right now. Things are heating up pretty good. I'm keeping everything zone 2, power and heart rate. Heart rate right now is 120 beats, and the power like 190 to 200 watts. I just realized I'm doing the Ironman Italy course here on Ruby, and I'm wearing my Ironman Italy cycling bibs as well. So, didn't plan that, but it was fate for today whenever I decided to use Ruby. So, since it is Thursday, I'm listening to the new That Triathlon Life podcast. They put these out every Thursday. One of my favorite triathlon podcasts, along with Crushing Iron podcast. But they're talking about elite age group racing, particularly some of like the cheaters in the sport, you know, doping, taking banned substances, drafting, or whatever you have it. And they're talking about how there almost needs to be a separate elite age group field where we all get tested more regularly. We use stuff like Race Ranger and all that. I'm all for that, for sure. I'd pay extra for that. But anyways, one of the callers, the guy's calling in, his statement was like, he doesn't know if he wants to stay in the sport because he knows he has to compete against these cheaters. And it's like, that ain't the right attitude, my man. Just get faster. Just focus on you, get faster, and you can get to wherever you want to go naturally, for sure. I know that because people are doing it. I'm somebody doing it. I mean, I don't know what age group this guy was in or whatever, but guarantee there's people at the top of the age group that are totally clean. So just focus on you. Don't worry about the cheaters. If you are a cheater, this is messages for you. Get out of the sport. Thank you. But anyways, yeah, I know a lot of people that are putting down some very impressive times, and they're just badasses. So that's what I aspire to be. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not a fan of cheaters either, but I ain't going to let that reflect my time in the sport and what my goals and everything I want to achieve. So, I don't know, food for thought. Anyways, I'm 45 minutes into this ride. I'm going to wrap up another 5 minutes here or so, and then I got to go get off to a swim. So, we'll check back in later. All right, ride complete. We got 50 minutes in there, 120 beat average heart rate for that, 180 watts. I didn't think I was sweating that much out of my arms because my arm cups weren't filling up with sweat like they usually do, but I just realized this Tyvek suit like traps the sweat in the arm, so I'm like leaking out sweat now. I just dropped a couple big puddles of it whenever I put down my arms. But anyways, this was a pretty decent, it's something. I need to go shower up and get to this swim. We're gonna keep an aerobic pace today. And yeah, I don't know, we'll check back in later. Okay, it is Saturday. We have a big bike and run brick session on the schedule today. We got 2 hours and 40 minutes on the bike and a 40-minute run off of that. We're gonna do 10 by 10 minutes at 70.3 power intervals on the bike. This is a perfect session to practice some race fueling. You should always fuel up your long rides or whatever, but next weekend we are doing a full race rehearsal.
today's ride is pretty much just gonna be another little nutrition rehearsal. So what I got going on, I got two 32-ounce bottles with 90 grams of carbs in each of these bottles and 1,100 milligrams of sodium in each of those bottles, coming from the Formula 369 carbs and their electrolyte booster. And I'm also gonna take this 60-gram Precision Fuel chew bar. So that gives me 240 grams of carbs total. I'm projecting my bike split to be between 2 hours and 5 minutes to 2 hours and 20 minutes. We're gonna favor the fast end of that. My sodium sweat rate, I lose 750 milligrams of sodium per 32 ounces of sweat loss. So this 1,100 milligrams in each bottle totally covers that, and it covers if I were to grab water at the aid stations too. That's why I put a little bit more in my race bottle. And then for my run, I have this flask here. I filled this up with 120 grams of carbs and 1,100 milligrams of sodium. I'm not going to need all that for a 40-minute run today, but this would cover me for a half marathon. The race in Puerto Rico is going to be a little bit different because they don't have the same on-course nutrition that we usually have. So there's no Morton gels, there's no Precision Fuel on the course. I think you rely on like Gatorade and like bananas and stuff. So I heard you really got to bring your own nutrition. So I'm going to try this out. I was also thinking about trying the Precision Fuels gel. I've used that before, but I'm kind of really digging the Formula 369 stuff, so I'm going to give it a shot for today's run, next week's rehearsal, and we'll make that call for race day. And this is all really just training for Ironman Jacksonville, you know, in a couple months here. So that's pretty much what this Puerto Rico race is all about. So we're just kind of ironing out some details, and yeah, we'll check back in whenever we get to this workout. All right, we are getting this workout in. We are doing a 15-minute warm-up. I did a couple high cadence intervals. We got 10-minute zone 3 efforts on deck. We're going to target like 250 to 265 watts for each of those, and we'll do like a 3-minute recovery in between them. And yeah, we're going to get to this workout. We'll check back in periodically, but pretty much just hammer down and get our fueling nutrition in and just try to feel good today. So we are going to start this first interval right now. All right, I am an hour and 18 minutes into this ride. I got 5 of those 10-minute intervals down. The legs are starting to feel it. I'm already through a bottle and a half of my nutrition and hydration, but I am feeling good. It's just, this is gonna be a tough workout. And yeah, I'm only halfway there. It's tough, not gonna lie, it's tough. I'm sweating a lot, but enjoying this one. So this is where the gains are made. All right, holy hell. I just finished the 9th interval. I got 1 more to go. After the 7th interval, my saddle was getting really uncomfortable. So I actually got off the bike and I added a little bit more tilt on it, and I had to raise it up a little bit. And that actually seemed to really help. So this was a really good session to dial this in, see how I'm feeling at duration. Yeah, this is more of like an Ironman style workout I like to do. And I usually have longer rest intervals in between these. And then I'll have a longer like zone 2 effort to finish out the ride. I'm kind of condensing this all. So there's a lot of hard work for this relatively short session for an endurance ride. But anyways, I got 1 more of these sets to go. We still got a brick run to do. Help me. I'm going out this first mile, just working into pace. And I'm going to try to feel out like a goal pace for the 70.3. That was mile 1, 7:33. So we'll try to dip in maybe the 6:40s or 6:50s. I really don't have race pace all that figured out just yet. I don't know where my body's at the beginning of the year. We'll check back in once I really get cruising here. So that was mile 4, that was a 6:43. We also hit a 6:45 and a 6:57. I'm gonna do 1 more mile at 6:45. That's pretty comfortable. I'm staying like 5 beats below my threshold heart rate. So that's my
I don't know, kind of sweet spot for today. And we'll check back in after my cool down. But this run feels pretty good today.
All right, now that was a workout. For that ride, I got 60 miles in, 2 hours and 40 minutes, 223 average watts, average heart rate 131. That one kicked my ass, but we got it done. And then the brick run off, we did that warm-up mile, then we got to 4 miles at like a race pace. I'm feeling pretty good at 6 minutes 45 seconds per mile. That would kind of match kind of where I'm usually at in 70.3s. This early in the season, I'll be happy just matching or just going like sub 130. That'd be pretty good. I know Puerto Rico is probably going to be like mid 80s or something, so that's going to affect my race pace. I am carrying some extra muscle mass this season, so because I've been hitting the gym, but for real, I have been trying to put on intentional muscle to just be stronger for triathlon. I think it's worth carrying a little bit of that extra weight to not fatigue out. So I'm hoping that's going to be the ticket this year. I've been upping my nutrition game, paying attention to my protein intake, hitting the macros and all that. So that's just stuff that I kind of never really dialed in, and I really should. At this point where I'm trying to go, I need to cross all the boxes. But yeah, that run was pretty good. We got 40 minutes in, 7:03 average pace for that. Heart rate was in check. And I got some food to go eat, so I'm gonna go do that. We got Supercross tonight. It is the first East Coast round. For anybody that watches Moto, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, whatever. I'm just gonna go enjoy my evening. I think Mike's gonna come over and we're gonna bullshit about triathlon and brainstorm some Puerto Rico stuff. Tomorrow, I am going to meet up with some of the Tricly ambassadors. We're going to go pick up some shoes at Fleet Feet in Cleveland. Maybe get a little run in there or whatever. So, see you tomorrow. All right, I am at Fleet Feet in Westlake, Ohio right now with all the Tricly ambassadors. They hooked us all up with some new Saucony shoes for the season here. So I got the Saucony Pro 5s. I'm gonna try these out for some of the Olympic distance racing I'm gonna be doing. See how I like them. I love training in the Saucony Endorphin Speed, so I figured I'd get the pros, try them out for some of these tries this season, and definitely appreciate them hooking us all up. And I'm gonna enjoy my time with the group now. All right, so there I was, 15 minutes on my way home, and my wife texts me saying that I better go to Mochi Nut, which was right next door to Fleet Feet. So I turned my ass around and I'm back here in the parking lot. I'm gonna go see what this dessert shop is all about and go get me some tasty treats. All right, we are gonna wrap up this build week with a nice, easy duration run today. Not gonna lie, I went a little bit aggressive on my brick run yesterday because I wanted to do some race pace testing. So today I had a tempo run on the schedule, but we're listening to the body. We got in some tempo work yesterday and we're just gonna keep this one nice and easy. So we're gonna get about an hour in today. I went to a park that I know there's some nice trails that's softer footing for my tired legs. And yeah, I am feeling it pretty good after this week of training, but the body is also feeling pretty good. But anyways, I'm gonna get to this run and we will check back in when I'm out there. All right, that is run and week complete. I feel pretty good with that one. That was 7.25 miles, 130 average heart rate, kept it nice and easy. I feel good with how I've increased my run mileage this week. I feel like I'm out of the water with that sprained ankle injury. I got, I think 4 runs in this week, so that's pretty good. Just trying to be consistent there. Yeah, that's what I want to work on this year is more running consistency. I don't need the super long sessions, but more consistent throughout the week. If I can get 4 or 5 runs in, that would be goals. So happy with where I'm at right now. We got 13 hours of training in this week. That was 6.5 on the bike, 3.5 running, and 3 hours swimming. So we're doing pretty good. I'm not a super high volume athlete, but I feel like I'm pretty much on track with where I want to be for a 70.3 coming up, and then we'll bump everything up after Puerto Rico. So that's it. As always, I thank everybody for tuning in, liking, commenting, subscribing, reaching out to me and whatnot. That's why I like making these videos, and I say that all the time, but I appreciate it. So stick around, stay tuned for more. We are 3 weeks out from Ironman Puerto Rico 70.3.